Chapter 1: Soul and the Awakening. The first thing she became aware of was the crashing waves. It sounded so nice, so peaceful. She was content to just lie there and listen. She gradually became more aware of her surroundings. The sand felt so warm and soft. She didn't want to move, but then a voice intruded on her blissful state.
What happened? Are you okay?
She cracked open an eye and was greeted by the sight of a bright blue sky, wispy white clouds, and a shining yellow sun. The sudden light hurt her eyes, but she couldn't bring herself to look away. It seemed to her to be the most beautiful and wonderful sight that had ever existed. If only the voice would shut up and let her enjoy it.
You're awake. Thank goodness. You wouldn't move at all. I was really scared for you. Do you have any idea how you ended up unconscious out here?
She struggled to push herself up to sitting, seeing that she was on a beach. She felt weird, like she wasn't herself. Wasn't she supposed to be doing something important? She shook her head. It was like a fog that settled over her mind, making it impossible to think clearly.
Anyway, I'm Evie. Happy to meet you.
She blinked, and finally looked at the speaker. He was a small four-legged creature with brown and white fur and long ears. A satchel hung around his neck and over his shoulder. It didn't seem odd to her that such a creature would be able to talk. She got the impression she had become accustomed to it long ago.
And who are you? I don't think I've seen you around before.
She thought hard at this. Who was she? A human, maybe? But no, that doesn't sound right. Close, but not quite. Why was thinking so hard? She must have said something out loud, for a shocked expression appeared on Evie's face.
What? You say you're human? You look like a totally normal Riolu to me. Well, maybe except for the eyes.
She started at this. She looked down at her hands. No, her paws. She had paws? She shot to her feet and looked around. She has a tail? She spun around for a moment, trying to get a good look before sprinting to the ocean's edge where her image was reflected in the water. She appeared to be a bipedal fox-like creature, covered in black and blue fur. She was a Pokemon. Riolu. Then she looked at her eyes, and all she could do was stare. They were a shocking shade of light blue, shaped like tall ovals instead of circles. Her pupils slitted.
You're a little odd. Are you pulling some kind of trick on me?
The newly turned Riolu turned back to Evie and simply shook her head. It was taking all her focus to keep herself from completely freaking out. She'd leave the forming of actual sentences for later.
You're telling the truth. Okay, how about your name? What's your name?
My name? She tried to focus. The fog still clouded her mind, but it was getting thinner and becoming easier to think. I'm Soul. Evie nodded.
Okay, well, you don't seem to be a bad Pokemon at least.
He smiled apologetically.
Sorry that I doubted you. More and more bad Pokemon have been turning up lately, you see. A lot of Pokemon have gotten aggressive. It's just not safe anymore.
Right on cue, a bat-like Pokemon, Zubat, and a hovering purple Pokemon, Coughing, charged down the beach. The Zubat slammed into Evie, sending him flying and causing a stone of sorts to fall out of his bag.
Well, I do beg your pardon,
Coughing said. Evie picked himself off the ground and whirled around angrily to face the two Pokemon.
Hey! Why'd you do that?
Zubat laughed.
Can't figure it out? We wanted to mess with you. Can't face up to us, can you? That's yours, isn't it?
He said, turning to the fallen stone.
That's...
Sorry, kiddo. We'll take that.
Zubat said gleefully as he scooped up the object.
Whoa! Not going to make a move to get it back? What's the matter? Too scared? I didn't expect you'd be such a big coward.
Coughing chuckled.
Come on, Let's get out of here.
With that, the two thieves ran to a nearby entrance to a damp, sand-filled cave.
That was my personal treasure.
Evie cried.
It means everything to me. Please, you have to help me get it back.
Sol stared at Evie. She had just woken up on the beach with no memories, suddenly in the body of a Riolu. And he expected her to act like some sort of hero, getting back lunch money from bullies? Sol would have thought that Evie would see she had more pressing matters to attend to, like finding out who the hell she was. Then Evie gave her the look, his long ears pressed down against his head. His big, big eyes stared up at her, filled with unshed tears and childlike innocence. Sol didn't stand a chance.
Ugh, frigate. Let's go get this personal treasure of yours.
Sol muttered and stomped over to the cave. A much more helpful and determined Evie followed behind her.